Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ignite Your Heart Masterclass. I am so excited because today I have Dr. Lisa Thompson. Dr. Lisa, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
For those of us who are new to your work, would you share a little bit about yourself and tell us what do you do?
Yeah, so I've had quite the journey and added a lot of different things. So I am a best-selling author, multiple books. I also am a galactic ambassador and channeler. I do intuitive transformational coaching and human design, parallel life regression therapy. I do my own modality called quantum cosmic energy healing, and I do sound healing. And really, my whole purpose and mission in my business and in my life is really to empower people, mostly women, but people to really embrace their love, because the more that they are coming from a place of love, the more that they're spreading that out in the world.
I love your mission. And it's it ties into everything that happens in our life because when we're in alignment with love, everything we do falls into place, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
Now, when it came to the topic of like love in relationships, I'm really curious, is it different? Or what can you share about that?
Okay. Well, so just a little background on me, just so that you and the audience kind of knows my journey. So I've had in my 51 years of life quite the roller coaster ride of relationships and really trying to discover what love really is. And so, throughout my childhood, I felt unlovable, unworthy, and I was really trying to prove myself. And with those experiences, I was then attracting relationships that were not healthy. They were toxic. And that led through my 20s, a series of, relationships that were not great. And then I met my first husband, and that was extremely toxic. And I got out of that relationship, but then I got right into another one. And that one, it wasn't as toxic, but it wasn't healthy at all. And so when I left that marriage, so I had these two husbands, and I realized when I got out of that, I was the common denominator in all of these relationships. And so I really had to take a deep look into myself of like, okay, why is this happening? And so what I realized was I needed to do a deep dive healing with myself. And I worked, with different modalities. I worked with a coach. And once I was able to really peel back those layers and really discover the love that I had within myself, then I was moving through the world in a different frequency. And from that, then I met and married the love of my life. And that was 9 years ago that I met him. But here's an interesting twist to the story. He actually passed away last September. And even though throughout the relationship, I was able to maintain that love that I have for myself. And so even when he passed away and it was completely unexpected, I still had that love frequency. And he actually, because our connection was so strong, he has been connecting with me from the other side and guiding me. And he has brought me a new love. And he told me that early on I would that he would bring me my next person. And so, it's been a really interesting ride.
I am like getting goosebumps right now. Um, I would love to know, like, throughout your journey of love, what were some of the challenges you've experienced? Why were your relationships not working out? And then what shifted? Like, what were some of the things you did to attract your wonderful husband? Um,
Yeah. Well, I think those feelings of being unworthy or unlovable, and I had abandonment issues. So my parents divorced when I was 2, and my mother moved me out of state away from my dad. She moved us closer to her sister so that she would have support. But so, in those childhood years, I felt like, my dad didn't love me. I only got to see him maybe twice a year. And, so I created these stories around it. So he really did love me, but my experience was that he didn't. And so what I would do in these relationships was anyone that was like really genuine and nice, sincere, like a really safe person, I would think they were boring. So I went after the bad boys, the ones that, would ignore me or perhaps cheat on me or break up with me to go out with someone else, just things like that. And then as life went further, that first relationship, I I got sucked in to that relationship because of a memory from a different life that I had with him. And
Mm,
I knew that there was some completion that needed to happen. But so in my human design, I'm a generator. And once I get on a track, I have to stay on that track. I naturally just stay on that track until it's complete.
mm,
And sometimes that is to the detriment of me. And so now I know how I operate. And so I'm really very careful in terms of if I'm saying yes to something, a new opportunity, a new relationship, that and I'm a sacral inner authority in my human design. And so if my gut is really saying, okay, yes, we're going this direction, that I have to trust it. But if my gut is saying no, I also have to trust that. Like, because I used to override my knowingness with my logical mind. What are people going to think? What's society going to think? And so that kept me trapped in relationships that were not healthy for me. And so really, I started working with my human design maybe 10 and a half years ago. And when I first started learning about that and I got the nudge to leave my second husband, I didn't know what was going to happen, but I just had to follow it. I had to be trusting that that was the right thing to do. And ultimately, over the last 10 years, my life has completely transformed. And so some of the things, when I was doing the deep dive healing, I was looking at different aspects. So health issues within my family, um, there was some deep ancestral trauma with this lack of self-love. And what that was doing over generations was creating things like heart attacks, heart disease. It's all about that, the heart chakra. And so I did some ancestral clearing because I did not want to continue down that same path that my family had. So that was one of the things. Then I also had to just look at the stories that I had told myself. I had to look at the qualities of the people in relationship that I had been in that were maybe not so great and say, well, where do I match that in my life? Like, because, when we come together with someone, we're resonating at a similar frequency. And so if we're resonating in a kind of lower frequency where we're not experiencing the things that we truly want, then we just have to take a look at ourselves and then we can make changes there. So then what I also did was I wrote a very detailed list of the qualities that I wanted in my ideal partner. Now, my coach, he made sure he was like, it cannot be age, cannot be what they physically look like, nothing like not superficial. It has to be what are their true characteristics, their qualities. And so I wrote these down and then I had to take a look at, okay, am I equal to all of these? And if not, then I had to step up to the plate to be like, okay, if I'm going to meet someone like this, I have to be that.
yeah.
And so I really, and I took myself out on dates. I just really got to know myself and honor myself to be truly authentic in who I am because those relationships that I had been in, I didn't allow myself to be who I really am because there were conditions put on their love for me. They didn't accept me for who I was, so I had to pretend to be something that I wasn't. or keep my mouth shut, especially in that second marriage, because it would turn into arguments if I shared anything spiritual. And so, really, just knowing like I am an incredible, amazing, talented, beautiful, loving person, and I have so much to give. And so, really honoring that within myself. Then, when I was meeting new people, I would write down their pros and cons. Like I was very scientific about it. I have a
Yeah.
PhD in biology, so I am a scientist as well. But I was very scientific because sometimes, you get sucked in. And so I wanted to see it clearly. Like, okay, if there are red flags, I'm writing them down, and no, that's a deal breaker. And the more that I was writing it down, and then I just kind of organically met my third husband, and I didn't check him against the list because it was so organic. But a year after I met him, then I was looking at the list, and he was exactly every single one of the qualities that I had written down.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And
How did you like organically meet him versus like what would you consider like not organic?
so, with this experiment that I had been doing with meeting these other people, I was doing online dating actually. And not everyone is meant to do online dating, but like, and again, bringing it back to human design, people with profile fours, whether it's the conscious or unconscious, they're meant to meet people in their network, their sphere of people. They're not meant to randomly just like do online dating. Now, I'm a 6'2", so I can do online dating and it's fine. And so I was doing so again, I had this whole process where I couldn't read their profile. What I had to do first was look into their eyes because the eyes give so much information. You can read a lot of information from the eyes. And so if the eyes pass the test, then I could look at other pictures. I could read the profile and then, perhaps go on a date. Um,
Interesting.
eh, yeah. So then with my husband, we were both in the real estate industry. He had moved to the town. I was living in Olympia, Washington at the time we met. And so he had just moved to Olympia from a different city. And we were volunteering for the local Realtors Association. Every year they did community service. And so we were painting over graffiti in downtown Olympia, and we happened to be on a paint team together. But what's interesting is that when I saw him, there was this thing that came across. It was like, I know you. You are so familiar to me. I didn't say it out loud, but I was like, how do I know you? How do I know you? And so, we're on the paint team, we're just talking the whole time. And it was a little bit later in getting to know him that I realized, okay, we've had multiple lifetimes together. That's why he was so familiar. It was like this instant soul connection, similar to what I had had with that first husband. Like there was this almost immediate knowingness. And what's really interesting is that the new love that my husband has brought to me, same thing. It's like this soul recognition and multiple lives together and really trusting and honoring that.
Now, you do past life regressions and all of these things. So I'm curious, have you done like readings on your partners and just trying to figure out like what was the purpose of me meeting this person or like even from a spiritual perspective? Because I do believe that people that you meet that are either here to teach you a lesson or for here for divine partnership, you know them, like you've agreed to go through these experiences with them.
Yes, so even the most toxic of relationships that I've had, I know I signed up for that. And so what's interesting is that this particular, earth life that I've come here to live, I really wanted to experience that lesson of really discovering self-love, because when you have that self-love, everything is possible. And And so, the lessons were, okay, I'm going to forget my love, or I'm going to feel so unworthy. But I was able to, rise out of that. I call myself the rising phoenix because I've had multiple situations, relationships, financial, business, where I am continuously coming out of the ashes, rising again for an even greater life. And so, with that, with these relationships, yes, we do sign up for them at a soul level contract. And for me, yes, it's definitely been lessons. Even like, and so with that first husband, even though it was really an abusive relationship, I have fully forgiven myself. I have fully forgiven him. I am at such a neutral place in the relationship with him. And we have a child who's almost 18. And so we're able now to have conversations that we weren't able to have, through most of her growing up because it was
Mhm.
this battle, this polarity. And so it's a really beautiful, like, full circle to come and realize, like, and I thank him, thank you for playing the part that you did for me so that I could move, I could shift, I could grow and evolve. And same with my dad. My dad, I have completely forgiven him, my experiences, the stories that I was telling myself about him. And same with the second husband. Like, I've come to this place where the forgiveness isn't about them, it's about me. But what it does is it releases those cords, it releases the energy, the karmic cycle. And so now I'm completely, like, free to create this brand new life for the next 50 plus years that I'm here to live.
I find it um, so fascinating your journey through love and how each component of each relationship taught you something about yourself. Like, where can you love yourself deeper and where can you forgive yourself? I love that you brought up forgiveness because I think that's a huge component of being able to open your heart, which is part of, you know, what we talk about in the show is like, how do you open up your heart? Because if you've gone through so many difficult relationships and you've gone through so much heartache and pain, you tend to close your heart down and you're like, well, I don't really want to experience that all over again. So
Yeah.
for you, the opening process was forgiveness and self-love. Were there any other things that you've worked through emotionally that you had to like bring up and out?
Well, I mean, I really, really had to integrate the idea that what other people think of me is none of my business into my life because I cared so much about what people would think of me, and I was a people pleaser. And, so I was hiding who I really am in order to be liked or approved of. And I was doing a disservice to myself because what I was doing is it was creating, like, issues within the body, health issues, there was stuck emotional trauma. And so I really needed to release all of that energy in order to, and then again, what other people think of me is none of my business. And so when I got to that point, then all the masks could come off and I could fully step into my full authentic being. And what was beautiful about that is, and it was a trust of the universe. Like, okay, so if I'm showing up in this light, then I will attract my soul tribe, and I will attract a beautiful partnership. I know that I'm not meant to be alone in my life. I am meant to be in partnership because I learn and grow from that. And so by being authentic and really, again, so I had this beautiful love with my third husband, Skip. And when he passed, then I was like, okay, no, he set the bar really high, that
Yes.
frequency. And so I was still in that frequency with him. But then I was like, okay, what else? What would I need in a new partner? What can I add to that? Because now here I am showing up like as a galactic ambassador and channeler, which when I met my husband, I was not doing my spiritual business at all. He just was like, "Oh, you're an interior designer," and a scientist. Um, so what I needed to add on to that was the person needed to be deeply spiritual, have their own, spiritual understanding and practice, and fully accept my galactic side, which again, like that's very specific, very niche, right? Not everyone is going to fully be that and accept that. And so what's super interesting is that the person now that's in my life, he meets every criteria. He is fully galactic himself. He has that deep spiritual understanding. And so, it's the more that we are stepping into who we really are and just shining that light, being that frequency vibration, then we're going to attract that kind of partner that can support us and be equal to us.
I am literally getting just chills every time you speak about, the things that you're doing, how to be in alignment, how to attract the right person for you. And it really is about being so authentically you and being able to just love yourself, accept that you are worthy of love, and then stepping out and saying, like, this is me, this is who I am, and these are the qualities that I wish to attract in a partner. Um,
Yeah. The other thing though that's really important is boundaries. Like when you're if you're meeting someone new, really understanding, okay, is this person in that vibration, and really like don't turn the red flags green if they are showing red flags. And I think, I mean, that's what I did earlier in my life with a lot of these relationships. They would show me or tell me who they were, and I would not believe them, or I would think, oh, I can change them. And really, the more that we are paying attention to who people really are and how they're showing up, then we will know intuitively, whether they are a match or not.
Mm, I've had experiences in the past because I resonate with a lot of what you shared. Being a people pleaser, it was really hard for me to discern whether it was my fault in a relationship or if I wasn't giving enough like compassion for the way that I was being treated or the thing, right? Like sometimes you don't get what you need in a relationship and you think, oh, it must be that I'm not doing enough. And so I would try to do more, hoping that they would meet me where
Yeah.
I'm at, that if I stepped up, they would step up. And it comes to a point where you realize, like, but I'm giving so much and I'm realizing they're showing me their true colors. They're not matching me. And for me to say, this is not in alignment. And
Yeah.
this is the standard that I have to attract the right person. I have to set that standard and I have to take responsibility for what it is that I want. And saying, well, I'm sorry, this isn't going to work out. And taking a step back and allowing myself space
Mhm.
to bring in the people that are in alignment instead of always clinging on to something that feels safe, that
Right.
feels like, oh, well, I just want love and I'm just going to hold on to what little I have right now. And being able to say, I deserve better. I'm going to let go and I'm going to be open and I'm going to love myself and wait for another opportunity to come in.
Yes, beautiful. And I think that, we have so many expectations in our society about, whether we're partnered or not, and just even being women, right? They're just, there are different family expectations, society expectations. And the more that we're able to just honor ourselves and where we are, some people really they need or want desire to be alone for a lot of their life, and other people do thrive in relationship and they learn and grow. And so there's no right or wrong in any of this, but really the more, again, it comes back to self-love. The more that one is coming from a true place of loving themselves and accepting themselves, then whatever is going on in life is a beautiful thing, whether they're alone or in partnership.
Mm. I'll add to that too, because my story is a little different. Like I had a beautiful, wonderful relationship, and it was the component of I didn't love myself that I felt empty in that relationship. And adding on to like my experiences in childhood, I was actually like interested in seeking people who were not available to me, thinking that, oh, that was going to fill my cup. And in reality, it was the whole self-love component that I had to come into. Like I had to fill my own cup in order to feel that fulfillment in any area of my life. Otherwise, I would always be seeking outside of myself to try to fill that void.
Yes, I love what you just said because yeah, similar experience. And just to share, just from Skip, from the other side, my husband that passed, um, when he was here, he I know this now, he didn't have that full self-love. And so even though I was giving love and he was giving love back, but he couldn't fully receive all the love that I had to give. And he didn't receive all the love that other people had for him. And now on the other side, now he sees it completely from a different reality and understands like how much he actually was loved. And so, really it does come down to we can only experience the amount of love that we have within ourselves.
That really, really resonates. Oh my goodness. That's why opening your heart to receive is such a big component because it doesn't matter like how much other people love you. And that was a common thing. I was like, but so many people love and adore me. And for some odd reason, I could not see it. I
Mhm.
couldn't see it. I couldn't believe it. And it really took a lot of like patience and reassurance and through my own healing journey that like now I step into a room and I just smile at a stranger and they just smile back and it blows me away. And I'm like, oh my God, people see me. Like, wow. And it was that like self-validation of I finally see myself. So I actually notice when people see me. I actually notice when people like smile at me and they're happy, like genuinely happy for me. I can feel that now because I've cultivated that within.
Yes. How beautiful is that?
Um, I wanted to ask if you had like a tool, a tip, something that people can use to help themselves open themselves up to love or improve their relationships.
Yeah, so there are so many different ways that one can go about this. And um, what I guess would like to do is I'll just do a very quick little journey, if that's okay. Okay, so if you want to close your eyes, and anyone watching, close your eyes, taking 3 very deep breaths, breathing out with a ha. And I want you above your head to imagine a beautiful white sparkling light, source light energy, sparkling light. And that light is coming down like a waterfall and washing over your body, moving down into the center of the earth. And now open the top of your head and allow that white sparkling light energy to move into your head, moving down through your body like a river, down and out through the bottom of your feet into the center of the earth. And as this white light energy is moving through your body, it's clearing away the debris, it's removing the blockages, it's shining light in all of the dark places. And just keep allowing that white light energy to move through the body. And this white light energy is perfect at removing any stuck emotional trauma that's being held physically in the body. But specifically right now, I want you to focus on your heart. And I want you to run this white light energy down into the heart space. And if there's any dark matter in that heart, anything that is feeling like emotional trauma, heartbreak, anything keeping you from fully loving yourself, running that white light down into the heart and seeing it dissolve away any of that stuck emotional blockage. The blockage is dissolving into the light to then move out through the bottom of the feet into the center of the earth. And you can use this white light to just keep chipping away at that dark energy until it's completely cleared, knowing that it's fully leaving the body. You don't have to understand what the trauma is from, what the emotional blockages are from. Just trusting that it's safe for it to leave the body and for you to be whole, healthy, and perfect, fully in the love that you are. And now focusing on that heart space and seeing the green energy of the heart. And as that green energy in that heart space, I want you to see it twirling around. And I want you now to expand the green energy out beyond your body, expand the green energy out beyond your room, the house, pushing that green energy out beyond Earth's atmosphere, pushing it out into the solar system, out into the galaxy, pushing that green energy out as far into the universe, space, time, and dimension as you can imagine. You are sending out the love frequency, the universal law, the universal language, and only that which is of love can come into your space. And now pulling that green energy back into your body, knowing that you are the one that creates this love energy. It comes from within. It is always there. You just have to remember and experience. And now, gently opening your eyes when you're ready.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I feel like my heart just is like so expansive right now.
Beautiful. Well, and that's one of the methods that I use with my clients for the particularly the quantum cosmic energy healing is that white source light energy. If you can really just work with that energy to run it through and notice different parts of your body where there might be stuck energy, it's amazing at how quickly things will shift.
Mm. I did feel that it was like a little tug, right where like the bottom of the heart was. So something was
Mhm.
being just like flushed out. So thank you so much, Dr. Lisa, for sharing that. And as we're ending the masterclass today, you have a free gift to offer the audience members. Could you share that with us?
Yeah, so this is a meditative journey that you can download and redo as much as you want, where it's called Journey to the Heart, Discover the Sacred Soul Love Within. And so this is something that it's a longer thing of what I just led you through. But the more that you are really tuning into that heart energy and really understanding that it really does come from within, the more that you're going to experience love in your life, real love.
Fantastic. Oh, I'm so grateful for your free gift. The link is below the video, so everyone who's tuning in can just click the link and access the free gift. Thank you again, Dr. Lisa, for being here, sharing your incredible story of finding true love. And with that said, I will see everybody in the next masterclass.